Hey, every week during that video, I get a moment to just look at y'all in the dark. I know, that's weird, isn't it? But I got to tell you, you are looking extra good today. Like, I'm not kidding. You're looking good. You guys look like you got a little bit of maybe a little Sunday glow to you. So I'm curious, who forgot to wear your suntan lotion yesterday? Who forgot your suntan lotion? It was so stinking hot yesterday, wasn't it? My goodness, my boy Nixon, his soccer game was at 12 o'clock yesterday. Super. And I was like out there watching him. I felt like I was on the hot dog roller, you know, at 7-Eleven. It's hot. Anyway, hot dog, y'all are looking good. And I don't mean to point you guys out. It's good to see Daryl and Chrissy, who just got married. Let's give it over to these two. Been on a European vacation, right? Like, that's awesome. So, anyway, hey, they've been in the building before, but maybe you have never been in the building before, and we are glad you're here. Welcome to church. My name is Joel, and if this is your first time here, I'm not just saying this. You're sitting around the best people I've ever met in my life. I love the people in this room. Now, some of them are Eagles fans. But they're good people, I promise you, all right? But if this is your first time here, welcome to church. If you're watching online, so thankful you're joining us online. Can you just give it up for our first timers, our onliners, Daryl and Chrissy, everybody? Just glad you guys are with us. All right, hey, are you okay if we talk about our church for just 2 more weeks? Is that okay? I know we've been in this series for like 3 weeks. This is 4, and the next week will be 5, but that's it, okay? But just, can you give me 2 more weeks? Is that okay? Yeah. Guys in the back, are you good? Kiki, you good? Okay, Kiki's good. So we're in. Today, I'm glad that you guys are okay with me talking about our church again, because I don't have an alternate message prepared, actually. This is it. But I'm calling today's message, and we'll put this on the screen, No Ordinary Sundays. No Ordinary Sundays. So I need every single person to tell at least one person, you're not ordinary, you're extraordinary. Come on. This is your good deed for the day. Get your brownie points. That was good. Some of you are hitting on your wife with that. I like it. Getting some brownie points. Hey, can I start out with a pastor confession today? Is this a safe place? Is this okay for me to confess pastorally to you guys? Is this okay? Yeah. Okay. So I got to make a confession. A couple months ago, something devastating happened to me. And it was bad. It was one of the worst things I ever went through. What happened was the Bethany Beach Wawa shut down for renovations. And listen, that's the closest Wawa to my house, all right? And so I was having trouble having reasons to get out of bed in the morning. I stopped shaving. I consider going to alternate convenience stores. It was bad, y'all. And how many of you love some Wawa? You love some Wawa? Woo! Yeah. Love Wawa. Let me tell you about Celebrate Recovery. If you love Wawa, you're an addict. You need to go to Celebrate Recovery. Thursday nights with Sean right there. But man, I love Wawa so much that I separate my life into 2 parts. Part 1, life before Wawa came to Sussex County. And part 2, after Wawa came to Sussex County. Who's from Sussex County? Few of us listen. Wawa didn't used to be here. But I remember when Wawa came to my hometown, good old Millsboro, Delaware. And in 1996, when Wawa came to our hometown, there was only one other business really in Millsboro. Don's Barbershop. And I'm not knocking on Don's. In 1996, I had hair and I went to Don's. But there was nowhere else to go, so I had to go to Don's. But anyway, in 1996, Wawa came and opened up the first ever Wawa with a gas station. That's the first one ever opened up in Millsboro, Delaware. Sussex County, we made Wawa history, people. And I've been hooked ever since, okay? And so that's why a couple months ago I started having Wawa withdrawal when my local Wawa, the one closest to my house, shut down for renovations. Listen, we don't need no renovations. The ceiling tiles that had water stains on them, that gave it character. You do not need to change that, all right? So anyway, they shut down, but glory to God, 2 weeks ago, the Wawa opened back up, people. It opened back up. And so I went right away. And you know what the first thing I noticed was? It was not the fresh ceiling tiles without water stains. It wasn't the fresh smell of New Jerseyans. No. What I noticed was the Reese rack right when you walk in. It's the first thing that's in front of you as soon as you walk in. I took a picture of it so you can see. The first rack when you walk in is this Reese rack. And I walked in and I'm like, I did not know there were 73 different types of Reeses. Did you know this? I had no idea. So I bought every single one of them. One of each. I did. And I brought it today in my Wawa bag. I'm going to go through this because I'll be honest with you, I didn't really think, I was like, dude, we really need 73 different types of Reese's. So I'm going to go through this. First off, this is the classic. This is what I grew up on in 1996. This is all you could get, people. And look how I turned out. Great. So we don't need anything else. So this is the first one. So front rowers are going to get some love today. So here you go. All right. Yeah, that's your kick. Carrie's like, give me that mirror. Here. So then they came out. There was the regular Reese's. Then they came out with the Reese Big Cup. It's like a regular Reese's. It's just twice as bad for you. They're like, how do we get you unhealthy twice as fast? The Big Cup. All right, so the Big Cup came out. That's for you. All right. Then they're like, okay, how do we innovate? We got to innovate, okay? So what can we do? So they came out with a Reese Big Cup with Reese Pieces inside the peanut butter. They're like, how do we make our candy better? We're going to put another candy inside our candy. Glory to God. Okay, so there you go. Now, listen, Reese's is smart. They know we're a country divided, okay? We're like split down the middle, 50-50, and not everybody is a cup person. You know, there's people in the world, 50% of Americans are not in the cups. So they came out with Reese sticks. They're trying to get all the crowd, okay? So the cup people are not, so we're going to switch over and get the stick people. So there you go. Got sticks. And then we have, they also know that some people don't like creamy peanut butter. Where are the crunchy peanut butter people at? Where are the weirdos in the room? Back there waving yes, give me the crunchy. I like the crunchy. Okay, so they came out with Reese's sticks that are crunchy peanut butter. And I'm going to say this for you, okay? So this is yours after the service. Were you next? Oh, no, my wife was next. I just Okay. I'll get you anything you want at Wawa when we get home, baby. All right. All right, here's another one. All right, they know that now, in 2022, people are on diets. There's paleo people, people who eat quinoa, whatever. I don't know. So, how do we break people's diets? And they came out with the Reese's Fast Break. It's the fastest way to break your diet. All right. Just came out with that. And here, you guys can split that because you're in love. This is good. Okay. The Reese's Take 5. Best candy bar ever. I think this is very thoughtful. It's kind of like the Take 5 is a reminder. Take 5 insulin shots before you eat it. 5 after you eat it, and you're all good. Okay. So, hey guys, you guys can share that. All right. So now, I'm going to be honest. Up until this point, I'm kind of like, I don't really know if you need all these Reese's. I don't know that these are necessary. I don't know that I'm against cups enough to go to a stick Reese. I just don't think it's necessary. But I just got to show you this last one. All right, we're going to put it on the screen because you got to see this. It's the Reese Big Cup with potato chips in the cup. Jesus, take the wheel. This is what I'm talking about. Who wants this right here? Who wants this? Yeah, I'm totally keeping this for myself. I ain't giving this to nobody. It's mine. I'm not kidding. I'm not giving that away. I am eating that today. Now, I know maybe you're like, Joel, this is great. Kind of like a Reese's TED Talk, what's this got to do with me and Jesus? And I heard a rumor we're supposed to be talking about the church. So, basement talk. I know some of you are thinking it. I know the people who were, brought the biggest Bible in the room, you're thinking it right now. I know. But here's my point. Just like Wawa didn't really need another type of Reese cup, in 2011, Rehoboth Beach didn't really need another church. And when we launched our campus in 2011, Rehoboth Beach didn't need another church. It didn't. You know how many churches, if you Google Maps churches within 2 miles of us, do you know how many churches pop up? I do, because I Google mapped it this week. All right, so look, here we are right there. This is within 2 miles of us. We're right there in the middle. This is us. All these other teardrop crosses are churches around us. There are 15 churches within 2 miles of us. 15. It looks like the Reese rack in Wawa. I would also like to point out that McDonald's makes it into the Google church algorithm search. I don't know how. They paid a lot of money for that spot, man. I don't know. But look, in 2011, Rehoboth Beach didn't really need another church. There's already 15 of them. But in 2011, Rehoboth Beach didn't have a church that threw baptism parties, where people stood in line, not for French fries, but for baptism. In fact, our last baptism party, we had 19 people. I think we have a picture. There were 19 people who stood in line right over here to get baptized. That's crazy. And last weekend was just an ordinary Sunday. 3 people stood in line right over here to get baptized. But no Sundays at Bay Shore are ordinary. In 2011, Rehoboth Beach didn't have a church where you all cheered so loud for baptism. You cheered louder for baptism than Eagles. Which is good. In 2011, there wasn't a church in Rehoboth that could help pay off a mom's student loan on Mom's Day. And in 2011, Rehoboth Beach didn't have a church in a basement with the Guinness World's longest record handicap ramp outside. But we got it now, don't we? But most importantly, in 2011, Rehoboth Beach didn't have a church that you all couldn't wait to invite your unchurched friends to. But then, my dad, who's our lead pastor, in a board meeting in Gumber, Delaware, about 10 miles from said Wawa, my dad said, I got a crazy idea. Let's start a church in Rehoboth Beach, and let's make this church like different than every other church. Let's reach people who are unchurched people. And so on July 2011, one hot summer night, almost like yesterday, in July of 2011, we had our first meeting ever right here. I think we have a picture of our first night ever. This is us, guys. This is our baby picture, guys. And so why are we here when you could power walk with Butch and get to 15 churches in 10 minutes or less? Why are we here? We're here, and we'll put this on the screen. We're here because we wanted to create a church that unchurched people love to go. We wanted to create a church that unchurched people love to go. Look, you can take a picture of this, you can tweet it, you can TikTok it, whatever you got to do, because we wanted to create a church that unchurched people loved to go. And I don't know if you've noticed this or not, but we're a little different around here. Have you noticed this? I'm not going to point at anybody, Carrie, but but we do some different things around here. Like 2 weeks ago on Mother's Day, we opened the service with a Journey song. Don't stop believing. I'm not going to sing anymore, but Leslie killed it. I mean, I thought it was 1981 in here. And so we open up the service that way. We have the ice cream truck show up on baptism Sundays to celebrate with calories. Hello. On Father's Day, Dad, you need to listen up. On Father's Day, we're trying to have a beef jerky bar and an axe throwing company to come in. That is true. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing if our insurance company lets it happen. So don't. If it's not here, you know what happened. All right. So anyway, we're trying to get that to happen. Oh, and then for our 10-year anniversary, we had Nick Lachey. The Nick Lachey from 98 Degrees, ladies. He sang us happy birthday. You guys remember this? Some of you you weren't here for this. All right, just look. Here's a quick 10-second clip. Amy's.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Bay Shore.
Look. Sorry, we did forget the best part. Some of you ladies need to cool off. He is unavailable. And you're in church, all right? So, no, but why? Like, why do we do all that stuff? We do that stuff because we believe if you want to reach people no one else is reaching, you got to be willing to do things no one else is doing. And it's working. Did you know since Easter, 36 people have said yes to Jesus in our basement? Since Easter. This is incredible. In the past year, 27 people have gone public for their faith over here, and we've thrown baptism parties for 27 people because there are no ordinary Sundays at Bay Shore. So why are we here? We're here because we want to reach people no one else is reaching. And so Rehoboth Beach in 2011 didn't need another church, just like Wawa didn't need more Reeses cups, but Rehoboth needed a different kind of church. And so that's why we're here. And so if you brought your Bible, head over to Matthew chapter 14. And if you didn't bring your Bible, no worries. It's going to be on the giant digital Bible we have here. And I'll be honest, the opening part of the story, the setup part of the story, it's a little bit of a downer. Jesus had just found out that his cousin John had been executed for telling everybody, like, hey, the Messiah is coming. And that was not a popular message, and so they executed him. Jesus just found out that news, all right? So kind of a downer. Would you agree? Yeah. All right, so that's the news that Jesus just found out. That's where we pick up. And it says this. As soon as Jesus heard the news, he left. He's like, I'm out of here. He left in a boat to a remote area to be what? Alone. Now, question, I'm curious. Who here, you need some alone time? Come on, let me see who needs some alone time sometimes. If you have young kids, just say preach it. Preach it, preach it. Listen, I need some alone time sometimes. All right, and the reason is simple. I have a 6 and 8-year-old. So I need some alone time sometimes. Plus, in our house, we have a hamster that I do not love. And on a weekly basis, he breaks out of his cage and there's like a fugitive on the loose in our house. Plus, I have a dog who's 14 years old that has to wear a diaper sometimes. And so, listen, in my house, I got 2 kids, I have a fugitive hamster and an incontinent dog. And so sometimes I need some me time. And I get peeked out sometimes. And when I get peeked out, I say to my wife, I say, babe. And I call her babe because she is a babe, clearly. Okay, I say, babe, I'm getting peeked out, and I'm never peeked out on you because I'm never peeked out on my wife. I could always spend time with my wife. But I'm like, listen, all the rest of these turkeys in this house, especially that punk fugitive little hamster that's running around, I need some me time. And what I do is every once in a while, I'll get on my bike, and I ride my bike about a mile from my house, and I pull off, and I park at this wood line, and I just walk in the woods. And I go fishing in the middle of the woods all by myself. And maybe you're like, were you sad fishing in the woods all alone? Are you kidding me? It's amazing. I have a picture. This is from a couple weeks ago. Does this look like a sad man to you? This is my happy place. And the reason this is my happy place is because nobody can like yell from the bathroom. I'm like, Daddy, I ran out of toilet paper. Can you help me? And so sometimes I just need some alone time. So in this story, Jesus needs some alone time. He just finds out about his cousin. So he's like, man, I need some alone time. But watch this. In verse 13, the second half, it says, but the crowds, they heard where he was headed, and they followed on foot from many towns. All right, now I want you to picture this. All right, Jesus is alone in the Sea of Galilee, and the Sea of Galilee is surrounded by all these mountains. And all these people heard that Jesus was on the Sea of Galilee all alone, and they start scaling the side of the mountains. And we're talking 10 to 15,000 people. There's Jesus. I see you, Jesus. Do you see me? Of course Jesus sees them because he's Jesus. Someone got it right. So Jesus saw them creeping on them. Saw the huge crowd as he stepped from the boat. And what did Jesus do? He had compassion on them. And then he healed They're sick. Now, we'll come back to that. They're sick. Just remember that. Now, if this story were about me, it wouldn't say that Joel had compassion on them when Joel needed some alone time. It would say, Pastor Joel yelled obscenities at them and said, I'm going to call the cops if you don't get away from me. You are stalking me, out of here. But Jesus doesn't do this. Jesus sees all these people and he has what on them? Compassion on them. Now, here's a question. Why are all these people why are 10 to 15,000 people trying to get to Jesus? I'm going to explain it with a story. But we got to go back to the Wawa in Millsboro in 1996, all right? Now, I don't know if Wawa still does this when they open up their stores, but back in the day, on opening day for Wawa, you used to get free coffee. Where are the coffee people at? Who's all into the coffee? Oh, wow. All of y'all on the sauce. Okay. Some of you held up the coffee. There it is. Yeah, that's a huge one. All right, great. And so, back in the day, Wawa, on opening day, you would get a free cup of 99-cent coffee. But since I don't drink coffee, I'm not on the sauce. To me, a 99-cent cup of free coffee is not that big of a deal, right? Wrong. Because in 1996, apparently, are you all hearing like a dinosaur or something? I feel like I'm in Jurassic Park. It's like, woo. I'm just pointing out the obvious. That doesn't have anything to do with my story. All right, I don't know where I was. I was talking about Wawa free coffee. Listen, I don't think a free 99-cent cup of coffee is that big of a deal. But in Millsboro back in 1996, this is true, people slept out in the parking lot on opening night eve to get a free cup of 99-cent coffee. Now, I am the cheapest person in the room. I am. My wife calls me Pastor Tice, and there's a reason for that. But if you're going to sleep in a parking lot for a free 99-cent cup of coffee, you aren't well. There's something wrong with you. All right, but why do people do that? Because people will do crazy things for free stuff. A little closer example, you all remember when the Chick-fil-A over here opened up? Our beloved Chick-fil-A. Do you know how long people camped in the parking lot at Chick-fil-A? 5 to 7 days camping in the parking lot because the first 100 people get like a free 100 chicken sandwiches. Now, that's Christian chicken. So that makes sense, okay? I can get behind that, I can get behind that. But listen, people will do some crazy stuff for some free stuff. Now, back to the Jesus story. Why are 15,000 people creeping on Jesus? Why are they scaling the mountain to get to Jesus? Is it because they had a really great quiet time and they just got to meet Jesus? Is it because they saw Jesus post on Facebook that morning, a verse of the day, it said, "Come find me"? No. Is it because they were in the Christian Chicken drive-thru and they saw somebody's Christian bumper sticker and it changed their life that morning, so they had to go find Jesus? Is that why? No. The reason these people are trying to get to Jesus is because they wanted something for free. Verse 14 said they were sick. And so they wanted a free healing. And Jesus doesn't go off on them. Jesus has compassion on them. Now, maybe you're like, okay, yeah, but what's the point? Here's the point. The longer you've been a Jesus follower, the easier it is to be like, well, if you just play that secular music in church and you have them axe throwing trucks coming, then people will come to church for the wrong reasons. Yes. 100%. But people followed Jesus for the wrong reasons, and Jesus didn't criticize them for it. He was just glad they were there. And that's 100% how we feel at Bay Shore. And so, watch this. In the next verse 15, that evening, okay, so Jesus has 10 to 15,000 people come upon him, and that evening disciples came to Jesus and said, "This is a remote place. And it's already getting late." So they're like, it's our bedtime, Jesus. And then you got all these freeloaders coming after you. And so here's our idea for you, Jesus. Send the crowds away. Send those sick people away so they can go to the villages and buy food for themselves. In other words, they're like, Jesus, would you just get rid of them? Those people. Would you just get rid of those morally and physically sick people? Just get rid of them because Jesus, we want to keep you all to ourselves. Listen, you ever met those Christians? You ever been to that church? Listen, let me just tell you, at Bay Shore, we will never be in the catering business where we make church just for Jesus followers so we can have Jesus all to ourselves and so we can sing Kumbaya together. We will never, ever, ever be that church. I will root for the Pittsburgh Steelers before we're that kind of church. And we will never send away the morally sick because, breaking news, we are all morally sick. Especially those of you who get in the 12 items or less line at the grocery store with 73 items. Knock it off. You're sick. Listen, I love it when people show up to our church and they don't know the religious rules. I remember my first Sunday I ever preached here. It was November 3rd, 2013. I stood right here and I was scared to death. I mean, scared, because you all are scary, okay? And I'll never forget, I was scared to death standing here, and my wife was sitting right where she's sitting right now. We had a 2-week-old baby, and she was holding little Nora, and next to her was my mother-in-law. And right about where you are, Johnny, was a guy named Don. And Don was tatted up, sleeved, and Don, he had tats everywhere. He had half his hair was shaved, and the other half was a party. And Don was a loud talker. You know any loud talkers? Anybody know any loud talkers? You're pointing. All right. But at least you rose your hand like, yes, it's true. Listen, Don was louder than you. I promise you, John. Don was so loud. So I preached my first message, and it was terrible. I mean, it's a wonder my wife didn't walk out here. I mean, it was bad. But apparently, Don liked the message, because after the service on my first Sunday, we're out in the lobby, and loud talker Don comes up to me and he said, "Preacher, for your first message, that was one beep good message." It's my first Sunday. All right, I'm like fresh out. I'm fresh, man. And he's just like beep, and everybody heard it because Don was a loud talker. So immediately, everybody in the lobby just went and looked at me. Like, what are you going to do now, fresh preacher, okay? And so they're all looking at me. And I looked at Don. I'm like, Don? Cussing Don? That's the best compliment I've gotten all day. It's the only one I've gotten all day, actually. But I was like, Don, listen, you take 2 coffee mugs. I'm so glad you're here. And you might be like, well, but he cussed in church. Listen, he was in church. And that is a win. And I've said this before, and I'll never stop saying it. I want Jesus to change his heart more than I want us to change his language. I want Jesus to change his heart more than I want us to change his language. And listen, at Bay Shore, we don't do judgy church. Do you see what she wore when she came into church today? It's inappropriate. And I am offended. Look, number one, she's wearing clothes. That's a win. In 2022, can we agree that is a win? Yes. And number two, she's in church. And so instead of judging her, why don't you say, welcome to church? And why don't you tell me about it, and I'll go turn the thermostat on heat because she's going to be cold. Listen, our focus here is not behavior modification. It is heart alteration. Because only after Jesus gets our heart do we actually start to change. And so we are a church for unchurched people where everyone can come in. And so back to the story, okay? The disciples want to send away the morally and physically sick people. But Jesus says this, all right? This is the best line of the day from Jesus. He says this in verse 16. Jesus said, that isn't necessary. Nope, no. Hey, guys, I know you want to just get me all to yourself so we can sing Kumbaya together, but not going to do that on my watch, okay? And so he says, here's my idea. He says, you feed them. You roll up your sleeves and you feed these people. But they said, we only have 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish, they answered. And so Jesus says, what did Jesus say? Bring them here. Jesus is like, would you even know who you're talking to? Bring it to me. If you just let me touch the fish and the bread, I'll do something extraordinary with it. Have you noticed that nothing Jesus touches stays ordinary? you noticed that? Like one time Jesus went to a wedding, and there were 6 ordinary jugs of water. And Jesus turned those 6 ordinary jugs into from water into 6 extraordinary jugs of wine. Or if you're Baptist, 6 extraordinary jugs of grape juice. One time Jesus went to a funeral, and it was his friend Lazarus' funeral. And it was a pretty ordinary funeral. And he looked into an ordinary tomb, and he's like, Lazarus, come out of there. You're kind of stinking in there. You're kind of ruining this funeral party. Would you just come out of there? And mummified Lazarus, stanky Lazarus, came walking out at his own funeral party. That is not ordinary, people. That's extraordinary. And nothing Jesus touches stays ordinary. And if nothing Jesus touches stays ordinary, do you know what that means? In the back, do you know what it means? It means that at church, there should be no ordinary Sundays. If anything that Jesus touches turns extraordinary, then at church, there should be no ordinary Sundays, right? Right? In the back, right? Showing in the back? Right. Now, let me give you a little Ancestry.com, little 23andMe time, all right, with the pastor. On my dad's side of the family, everybody's a pastor. It is ridiculous, all right? My pop-up's a pastor. I have 2 aunts that are pastors. My uncle is a pastor. My dad's a pastor. I'm a pastor. Last time I counted, there were 6 pastors at Thanksgiving dinner. 6. Can you imagine like how it goes like when we're trying to figure out who's going to pray over the Thanksgiving turkey? It's like an MMA situation, okay? Like people are wrestling. It's like serious. I mean, it is ridiculous how many pastors are on my dad's side of the family. Now, my mom's side of the family, it's not like that. It's normal. My grandparents, who, when they were still alive, when they would go to church on Sunday mornings, they just went to church. They weren't preaching at the church. They didn't put on a preacher robe. They just went to church. It was just normal. Now, every once in a while, me and my brother, we would go to church with my grandparents growing up. And one of the churches that my grandparents on my mom's side that they went to, I hated going to it. I hated it because when I was there, I thought I was at a funeral. You know what I mean? And it smelled like a funeral. And the people who were there were all going to have their funeral real soon. Sorry, that's not right. But I hated going there because nothing exciting ever happened there. Ever, okay? Nobody smiled. Nobody was ever baptized. Nobody acted happy to be there, including the pastor. The most exciting thing that ever happened is like one Sunday in the middle of the music, the overhead projector stopped working. And so we were allowed to make up our own words. That was exciting, okay? But besides that, nothing exciting ever happened. And I just want to tell you, I never, ever, ever want that to be our church. Every single Sunday when I pull into our parking lot, actually, we park at Giant. That's where we park today. We always park at Giant. And I'm walking down our 23 stairs. I'm thinking, like, Jesus, you're going to do something amazing today because Jesus always does. I believe that when I walk down these 23 stairs. I feel that because every Sunday I come here, something amazing happens, okay? So no Sunday should be ordinary at Bay Shore. Now, here's a couple examples of that. Last Sunday, we just had 3 baptisms. Last Sunday. After church last Sunday, 3 more people came to me and were like, Joel, I want to get baptized. I can't wait to get baptized. That's not ordinary. For our welcome lunch, guys, 27 people signed up for a welcome lunch. We had so many people sign up. We had to cut off sign-ups. That is not ordinary. You all being so generous that we can help pay off a local mom's student loan on Mom's Day is not ordinary. And you might say, well, you really shouldn't have done that because, you're in the middle of a capital campaign and don't you need your money for your building? Listen. If we stop helping people and we get a new building, we're not a church anyway. We're going to keep on helping people no matter if we're in a building campaign or not. And so there are no ordinary Sundays at Bay Shore. That's why I love it around here. I love just looking around, like during the music, I don't want to weird anybody out, but I look back, I saw a Kiki totally into it. There's a girl up here totally into it. I just love it, man. And Bo's up here man, this is not normal. And I'm like, it's not normal. You're preaching my message already. So good, man. So anyway, nothing Jesus gets a hold of stays ordinary. So when you walk into church, just expect things to be extraordinary. Because that's just what I think Jesus does in church. Now, back to the story. Jesus does get 2 ordinary fish and 5 ordinary loaves of bread. And so it's not exactly like a paleo diet, but it's not like a Reeses cup diet either, okay? But so he gets these ordinary bread and fish, and then he told the people to sit down on the grass. And Jesus took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and he looked up toward heaven, and he blessed them. And then breaking the loaves into pieces, now don't miss this, he gave the bread to who? To the disciples, who distributed it to the people. And they all ate as much as they wanted, and afterwards the disciples picked up 12 baskets of leftovers. About 5,000 men were fed that day, in addition to all the women and children. Okay, most people think that there was 10 to 15 people that were fed in this sitting. Somebody said that's extraordinary. That is like, you all did like, yeah, that's extraordinary. Listen, five loaves of bread and 2 fish, that is extraordinary. Now I have a question for you. Now this is a theological question, but anybody can answer this question. Cousin Don could answer this question. If Jesus wanted to rain down fish and chips or fish and loaves on the crowd all by himself, could he have done it? Yes or no? Yes. Yes. Like, listen, if I'm Jesus, which I'm not, my wife can attest, I'm not Jesus. But if I'm Jesus and I could just like rain down fish and chips on you all right now, kind of like I was doing, well, let's just say, if I could just rain down Reeses cups on you all. Like everybody gets a Reeses cup, all right, which wouldn't that be the best Sunday ever? It's just like, you just looked and it's like heaven from heaven, you got the Reeses cups. But if I could do it all by myself, I'm like, woo, I'd be like, I think I'm going to do that. That's pretty cool. But Jesus didn't do it all by himself. Even though he could have done it all himself, he used his guys to distribute the fish and chips, right? Now why? Here's why, and we'll put this on the screen. Jesus wants to let ordinary us be part of his extraordinary plans. Jesus wants to let ordinary us be part of his extraordinary plans. He wants all of us to be a part of it. And could you imagine what would happen in our church? Could you imagine what would happen in Rehoboth Beach, what would happen in your friends and family's lives if every single one of us was like, hey, I'm going to pitch in. I want to help make this the most extraordinary church for unchurched people. Could you imagine what that would be like? And you guys do that so well. Like, you invite so many people here. You all give here. And we have the best volunteers on the planet here. Can I just brag on our volunteers for 1 second? Is that okay? They are the best. Yeah, just give it up for our volunteers in the back and people all over the building. Every Sunday morning we do a rally. Here's our rally of our volunteers from just this morning. Do you see how many people were here at like 9:30 to help serve you guys? So many people. And also, I'd like to point out that right here, somebody brought their dog. There's a dog right there. It's my favorite part, other than Bo Dukes standing up on the drum. Look, that's a liability waiting to happen, Bo Dukes. But I love our volunteers. We have the dream team of volunteers. Now, you might be like, well, no one ever asked me to volunteer. I like to be in that picture. Okay, listen, I need everybody in the room. Everybody, just do this right now. 3 taps. Now say, who dis? It's your pastor. I would like to invite you to volunteer on our team. We would love to have you. That was shameless. Wasn't it, Carrie? That was shameless. But I'm asking you, would you join the dream team? Would you join this team? And I would love every one of you to say yes, but I made a goal because I like goals. 30 people. 30 people today to say, yes, I'm in. 30 people to say, yeah, I want to make this the most extraordinary basement for unchurched people. 30 people. And we can do 30 people. Can we not do 30 people? Come on, can we do 30 people? Easy. Yeah, some of you are like nervous like golf clap. Oh, no. Listen, we can do 30. And so I'm hoping that we can get 10 for Bay Shore Kids. Anybody in the room serving Bay Shore Kids right now? No, come on, just make some noise, ladies. You know who? Yes. So 10 people to join that team, 10 people to join production. Where are the production people at in the room? Yeah, they're a little more excitable. And 10 people to serve on guest services, all right, because we're like the Hilton around here. Where are the guest services people at in the room? There they are. 10 people. And If you sign up to volunteer today, we're going to give you a free t-shirt. Actually, this one, and we also have a black one. I don't know. Oh, John, you're wearing the black one. So that black one, this white one, we're going to give you out in the lobby. Yeah, there you go, John. Stand up. And you might be like, what, are you trying to bribe us with a t-shirt? Yes. Why do you think people run 5Ks, all right? Like, you want a t-shirt, man. And I know when I was like, can we get 30 people? I was like, yeah. You might be like, I just can't do it. So let me kind of end by telling you about our most recent volunteer. Actually, John, I didn't plan this, but you stood up earlier. This is John, our most recent volunteer on our production team. Can you guys give it up for new kid on the block, John? John, you've been coming for, I don't know how long you guys have been coming. 2.5 years. And you should know 2 things about John. Number 1, John is a massive Eagles fan. Eagles fans, listen, Eagles fans are unhinged. Your record and your enthusiasm do not meet, all right? But all good, I guess. I don't know. All right, so John is an Eagles fan. Number 2, what you should know about is John is psyched up on Jesus. I'm in a group text message with John, and John goes off about Jesus like 7 times a day. He like caps locks everything. He's exclamation pointing everything. And like, oh, John's talking about Jesus again. So like John is just like excited about Eagles and Jesus for sure. But John, a few weeks ago, I walk in here. I get here pretty early, but around 9 o'clock, I see John just kind of like randomly standing there. And I'm like, I went up to him like, John, man, you got here real early today. Are you like lost? And he's like, no. This is my first day serving. He's like, Nate asked me to volunteer, and so I'm gonna like do the cameras for Nate. And I'm like, man, get out of here. That's awesome. And I was like, thank you for giving like part of your morning up to be here. And John, I don't know if you remember, but you're like, giving up no, this is where I want to be. I'm not giving up anything. This is my church. And so John was, during worship, I look back, John's got this camera, and let me just tell you something about John. Everybody, I talked to John ahead of time. He told me I could say this, so everybody just relax. Are you relaxed? Yeah. I don't need anybody Will Smith slapping me up here, okay? Just relax. Are you relaxed? Security will get you if you try to come towards the stage. Listen, John lost his arm in an electrical accident. So John is missing an arm. And so we talked about this. All right, if anybody in the room has a good excuse when Nate says, hey man, you want to hold a camera? If there's anybody in the room who has a good excuse to say, I can't, would it be John? Yes or no? Yes. Yeah, like John could you have the best excuse ever. So if you're like, Nate, if you're thinking, I just can't really volunteer, I just can't do it. I think John wouldn't say this to you because he's nice, but if I were John, I'd be like, bro. Like, you can hold a bro. You can hold a camera. Actually, maybe we start that as a new volunteer position. You just randomly cold call people in the church. Like, just say one word, bro. But I'm so thankful to have you on the team, man. You bring a light with you, man, and so great. But everybody say bro. Everybody say bro. Bro. Listen, I'm not trying to guilt you into volunteering. No, I totally am. 100% shameless. Like, but listen, we wanted to create a church that unchurched people love to go. And we're willing to do things no one else is willing to do to reach people no one else is willing to reach. And it's working. How many of you have been changed by Jesus in some way in the basement? Jesus has done something, anything in you. Look at this. Look at this. That's extraordinary. That is not normal. And we're just getting started, baby. And so I really don't mean this as a guilt trip, but I just want to ask you, would you be willing to consider joining our team? Because God lets ordinary us be a part of something extraordinary. And so here's what we're going to do. We're not going to pray it out today. What we're going to do is we have 3 kiosks out in the lobby set up, and it says No Ordinary Sundays on the TVs at those 3 kiosks. And if you would like to join our team, or you just really are in it for the wrong reasons, but you want a free t-shirt, we will take you, man. But if you want to join our team, man, we would love to have you. And so there's going to be people out there. We have a t-shirt for you, and it's really easy to sign up. And if you're a first-time guest, One of our kiosks, there's 4 out there, 3 are for volunteering. One of them is going to be for first-time guests. And so if you're a first-time guest, stop there. We're not going to make you do anything. We're not going to make you hold a camera next weekend. We have a gift for you. We have a coffee mug and Fisher's popcorn. And that's just our way of saying, hey, thanks for being here. So, you all ready to do it? Yeah. All right, all right, I'll take it. John's like, bro. But it's okay. Hey, I love you guys, and we'll see you guys next weekend for our last installment of Basement Talk. You guys enjoy the weather today, and we'll see you next weekend.